guys, and what this date is today. Raise your fists with me into the sky. Raise your bro fist and make it large and proud, because this is the 31st, the final basic guide for World of Warcraft. I've covered all 31 specs today. That is it. When we started this project now 4 months ago, I never thought I'd actually make it to the end. I really did. I thought you guys, well, maybe people won't like it, whatever, it doesn't matter. Here we are today, and raise your fist with me and bro fist into the sky and give that big holler out to the people, because this is the Subtlety Rogue. It is the final 31st spec in World of Warcraft. If there is ever a spec you want to know how to play basically in Cataclysm, it's on my channel, baby. All of them are there. Booyah! Let's jump in. Meticulous, EU Sylvanas. We are playing the Subtlety spec. And what a fun spec to finish on. This spec has loads of things going on. If you ever been to the circus and seen one of those clowns spinning plates on sticks, that's exactly how the Subtlety Rogue plays. We have loads to manage. Lots to manage and loads of fun to do. Why? Because we can also blink now. Hoo yeah! Shadow stepping around like absolute bosses. Really love it. So, we're going to do the usual. We're going to look at your stats, we're going to look at your gemming, we're going to look at your reforging, we're going to look at the glyphs, we're going to look at the talents, we're going to look at the spells and all that stuff you need to manage to make some decent performance in your Subtlety Rogue. Subtlety is, of course, mainly a PvP spec. Let's not forget that, guys. It is mainly a PvP spec. Its damage is up and down. Some people are claiming that Subtlety is going to be the spec to be playing at the end of this expansion. I hope that comes the case, because it's so much more interesting, I think, than combat and assassination. But still, let's hope it gets up there. What stats are we looking for, Preachy? How do I gem and how do I get ready? I've been playing my Subtlety Rogue in PvP. I want to switch over to do some PvE action. And if you come to Preacher's house, it's all about the PvE. Agility, people. We need agility. We need some lovely agility leather. Agility leather. We want agility gems. We cannot reforge for agility, guys. Agility is so overwhelmingly good that we need to be getting as much agility as possible. Agi all the way down. See my gems? Almost pure Agi all the way down. If we're not picking up a 20 Agi bonus, at least we want to be putting a pure agility gem in your items. You want to make sure all you do in your mind when it comes to your gemming is you look at an item, you look at the set bonus. Is it agility? If it is agility, am I going to get more agility if I gem pure agility gems, the 40 Agi gems, or if the epic gems are coming now, I think they're 50 Agi. Am I going to get more agility by putting them in? Or will I get more agility by, or the same agility, that's what you need to think, more or the same by using mixed gems? If the answer is I can get more agility by gemming pure agility, then we're going to gem that way. Very easy process in your mind, guys. Very easy process. If we look at these legs, yes, there's a 20 Agi bonus on there, but as you can see, it's a yellow and a blue. 240 Agi gems is going to give me more agility than putting a yellow and a blue gem in there and getting that 20 Agi bonus. It's just that's a simple process in your mind. That's all you need to think about for your reforging. For your gemming. How about your reforging? That is always the tricky one with the rogues, because they change all the time. Primarily, you want to be getting your hit to 8%. You can see I'm 9.17. That's because I generally don't play Subtlety. It's a little bit weaker for me for what I do. But you want to be aiming for that 8% special hit cap. That means you're going to be making sure all your attacks hit. Our poisons aren't the great source of damage they are for the other specs, especially if you compare it to something like Assassination. Our poisons just aren't up there, guys. They're really not. So we're not aiming for a big spell hit cap. We're looking for melee hit cap. We're going to be doing a load of bleed damage. We're going to be cutting things up, slicing, dicing, rupturing. We're going to be doing all sorts of good bleed stuff. And that means we just need our specials to be making contact. So you want to get your hits up. Now, one thing I'm going to talk about when we get to talents is trying to test this on the test dummy. You cannot test Subtlety on a test dummy. You can't do it, guys. You really can't. And I'll tell you why later. But our next reforging stat is going to be haste. We want to get our haste up. We're not too bothered about our expertise. You see way low expertise on me, 12 expertise. Expertise is not that important. We want more haste. Which you can see we're looking for more and more haste. Really are. And after that is coming crit. Crit is surprisingly good for Subtlety Rogues. Crit is really, really nice for Subtlety Rogues. Mastery is definitely not. Mastery is going to be your worst stat, okay, guys? So when it comes to reforging, if your item's got mastery on it, that is going to be the first stat to go. Really is. And then expertise particularly, which is odd for a melee class, but believe me, that's why it's important. We need the expertise up there. You want as much haste and as much crit as you can get after getting your hit cap, and then you can think about getting your expertise up, but leave your mastery way, way down at the bottom. You're looking for hit, haste, and crit. Those are your goody stats. Haste is above crit, so if all else fails, get as much haste as possible. Alright guys, very simple thinking. If you look at this, hit and crit, happy to leave that as is. Just working up, getting some haste, reforge away some mastery, get some haste on that item. Really simple, basic reforging stuff like that. Let's look at our talents. How are we specking? There's not a lot of wiggle room for our Subtlety Rogue, guys. Not a lot of wiggle room at all. Every point is taken. Not much of choice. Haha, Blizzard, whether we want filler talents that you can pick for fun. Not the case with the Subtlety Rogue in PvE. We need all these talents, okay? So let's pay attention and let's read through. Relentless Strikes. We're going to take 3 out of 3 in that bad boy. With the finishing moves, have a 20% chance to, per combo point to restore 25 energy. Subtlety Rogues are going to be rolling in combo points. I'm going to leave that topic for now and move on to it when we get to the Honour Among Thieves talent. Improved Ambush. We are going to be using Ambush quite a lot as a Subtlety Rogue. Increase the crit chance of your ambush by 60% and its damage by 15%. Yum, yum. Elusiveness. Reduce the cooldown of your Vanish and your Blind abilities by 60 seconds and your Cloak of Shadows and Compact Readiness by 30 seconds. Why do we take that for PvE DPS? Because Vanish is now a major DPS cooldown. Like it was for Assassination. We need to be ambushing a lot, and I'll get to the reasons why shortly, but Vanish is very important to us now for DPS. Opportunity. Increase the damage dealt with your Backstab, Mutilate, Garrote and Ambush abilities by 30%. We're going to be heavily using Backstab and Ambush, okay? We need those. We are even going to be slipping in some Garrotes every now and again, but we definitely want to be buffing our Backstab and our Ambush as much as possible. We take 1 out of 2 out of Initiative, gives you a 50% chance to add an additional combo point to your target when you use Ambush, Garrote or Cheap Shot. We're not going to be able to do Ambush constantly, so we only want 1 out of 2 out of there. We then pick up Hemorrhage. This is our big raid debuff. An instant strike that deals 216% weapon damage, if a dagger is equipped, which we will be using. You want a nice slow dagger in your main hand, but like a 1.8 speed dagger and a faster one in your offhand. Opens a wound that deals an additional 40% of the direct strike's damage over 24 seconds, and causes the target to take 30% additional damage from bleed effects. So we are now providing a buff that's similar to Trauma or Mangle for the Arms Warrior, and we're also adding another bleed, okay? You need to make sure you're tracking your Hemorrhage. Just watch Hemorrhage. Hemorrhage is now going to be bleeding. You see we get 2 Hemorrhage buffs because it's bleeding away. See, 317. Doesn't seem a lot, but it's an extra bleed that's going to be buffed by all our other good stuff. Find Weakness. Now this is where Ambush becomes important. Your Ambush, Garrote and Cheap Shot abilities reveal a flaw in your target's defences, causing all your attacks to bypass 70% of that target's armour for 10 seconds. A lot of our DPS is going to become from maintaining Find Weakness, and we have a lot of ways of slipping in ambushes, okay, from Shadow Dance to Vanishing, all that good stuff, and making sure we start off with a Find Weakness up, because it's a nice big DPS boost. What we want to be making sure of while we're DPSing is when we're going to get a Find Weakness up, we're about to Shadow Dance, we're about to Vanish, is that we're ready to slaughter that mob. You actually want to be spamming ambushes into it, backstabs, ruptures, all that good stuff, eviscerates. We don't want to be refreshing things like Slice and Dice and Recuperate while we've got this Find Weakness buff up, okay? So something to bear in mind is to get your energy ready for when we're about to do the Find Weakness, is we're about to zerg that mob. Energetic Recovery. You heard me just say we need to keep Recuperate up, and you're thinking to yourself, Preacher Man, Recuperate's a healing ability. Check this talent out. Empowers your Recuperate ability, causing its periodic effect to also restore 12 energy. We are now gaining energy by keeping Recuperate up. So not only are we healing ourselves, making us very, very lonesome and survival ability. This is why Subtlety Rogues were used for soloing things like Valionian and Thoralion, where we had to go into the Shadow Realm. Subtlety Rogues were perfect with that because they were constantly healing themselves all the damn time. Really nice, and now we're getting energy back from it. So Recuperate is now actually a DPS boost. Honour Among Thieves. Now this talent makes practicing Subtlety on a target dummy absolutely worthless. Let's read it. Increase the crit strike chance of all party raid members by 5%. Nice. When any player in your party or raid critically hits with a spell or ability, bear in mind that can be heals as well, you have a 100% chance to gain a combo point on your current target. The effect cannot occur more than once every 2 seconds. This is a huge thing, guys. This is massive. Because we need to keep up loads of things. We need to keep up Slice and Dice. We need to keep up Recuperate. We need to keep up Rupture. We need to keep up Hemorrhage. And then in between there, we want to be slipping in Eviscerates. That's huge amounts of combo point, 5-point finishes. Absolutely enormous amounts of them, guys. So many, in fact, that without Honour Among Thieves, we literally would not have the combo points to manage all of those things effectively. We'd be struggling for combo points. Honour Among Thieves, every 2 seconds, we're going to gain an extra combo point. So powerful. And we can do things like before the boss pull, if you're raiding a Subtlety, make sure your healers are healing you or healing somebody beforehand, because what you're going to do is actually start the boss with 5 combo points, which means you can put up your Slice and Dice before you even pull the boss. A 5-point Slice and Dice before you pull the boss is brilliant. So helpful to get that 5-point finisher done and sorted before you even pull. So try and get healers to heal you to get this proc up, to get this Honourable Thieves done. Pre-med requires stealth. When used, adds 2 combo points to your target. You must add or use these. You must use these combo points within 20 seconds, or the combo points are lost. So now every time we go into stealth, we get this new ability, this pre-med here. Now we've got 2 combo points on the target. Watch, pre-med 4 combo points. You need to be doing that every time we go into Shadow Dance, we vanish. Make sure you pre-med to get those extra combo points there, because you can only use them in stealth, alright guys? Pre-med very nice to just boost up your combo points to get all these things managed. Remember, we need to keep recuperate, slice and dice, ruptures rolling. We need all these combo points. Think about it before you do it. Make sure you've got it in your fingers that you need to be using this pre-med. And then we get preparation. When activated, this ability immediately finishes the cooldown of your sprint, vanish, and shadow step abilities. We want it for the vanish, really. The shadow step is going to be used pretty much every time we're about to ambush. Remember, shadow step buffs your next ambush. So we want to be making sure we use this for our vanish, because vanish is now going to put us back into stealth. That's going to allow us to use pre-med again. It's going to allow us to do another ambush. It's going to allow us to get fine weakness up again. Really important, guys, that you're doing all these things. Stealth is vital to a subtlety rogue. Sanguinary Vein, I think I've pronounced that right, whatever, that is a long ass word. Increase your damage dealt to targets with a bleed effect on them by 16%. Hemorrhage is that bleed effect, okay? And gives your bleed effects a 100% chance to not break your gouge. We're not worried too much about the breaking of gouge, because that's a PvP talent, but what we are looking for is that 16% buff to things with a bleed debuff on. That's why hemorrhage is important. And if you do get into a raid that's got a feral druid or an arms warrior, happy days, we don't even need to worry too much about hemorrhage. We're just going to use it for the extra bleed, but we definitely want to be getting that buff up from the start. Slaughter from the Shadows. Reduce the energy cost of your backstab and ambush abilities by 20. Woohoo! And the energy cost of your hemorrhage and fan of knives by 6%. By 6, sorry, not 6%. I want to point out here, Subtlety is awful AoE DPS. Absolutely atrocious AoE DPS. Really is bad. It's god awful, unless you have tons of mobs that it's worth fan of knives in. Like, I'm talking big 12 mob packs. You're going to be doing more damage by doing single target DPS. So bear that in mind. Don't worry too much about your fan of knives and subtlety. Serrated Blades. Your Eviscerate has a 20% chance per combo point to refresh your Rupture on the target to its original duration. That's good, isn't it? So once Rupture is up, preferably with our Master of Shadows, if we just look quickly into Subtlety, we pick up Master of Subtlety, not Master of Shadows. Attacks made while stealthed and for 6 seconds after breaking stealth cause an additional 10% damage. We want to be rupturing as soon as possible after we come out of stealth. And then we want to be keeping that up with Eviscerate. You got that? So we're spamming Eviscerate. Where we're Serrated Blades. We're going to use 5 combo point Eviscerates. That's going to refresh our Rupture. Glory days. Really nice. One less thing to manage. And then our big DPS cooldown is our Shadow Dance. Enter the Shadow Dance for 6 seconds, allowing the use of Sap, Garrot, Ambush, Cheap Shot, Pre-Med, Pickpocket, and Disarm, regardless of being stealthed. One thing you need to bear in mind, guys, is set up your bar appropriately. We need to make sure, because when you Shadow Dance, you will gain your stealth bar. Make sure you have your DPS abilities. We are surely going to be ambushing while we're in Shadow Dance. We're definitely going to be sticking a Garrot up. We definitely need to make sure we can slice and dice and all that good stuff while we're in that phase, okay? Shadow Dance, a huge DPS cooldown with 1 minute cooldown, and you can see that's going to get us back into that fine weakness area. Lovely jubbly. We pick up 2 out of 3, increase the chance to hit with weapons and poisons by 4%. We can only afford 2 out of there because we need to pick up these talents. Lethality, increase the critical strike chance critical strike bonus damage of your Sinister Strike, Care, Backstab, yes, Mutilate, meh, Hemorrhage, yes, by 30%. So we get a nice big fat bonus to our Backstab and our Hemorrhage. 2 out of 3 out of the coup de grace. Increase the damage done by your Eviscerate. We're going to be spamming Eviscerate so much with all these combo points. Really good, by 14%. And then Puncturing Runes is what we're after at the end. Increase the critical strike chance of your Backstab ability by 30%. And the critical strike chance of your Mutilate by 15%. Careface at Mutilate. We want Backstab buffed. Really good. So all you can see is we've got loads of cooldowns. Loads of things to consider. We've got preparation, pre-med. Our pull is very important, guys. Really is. When we start a boss, we want to be in stealth. You want to be firing off your slice and dice. You then want to be pre-medding, shadow stepping in, getting off that ambush, and definitely firing off that Rupture. And then you want to be backstabbing, getting off your Hemorrhage, and backstabbing up to 5 combo points, getting your slice and dice, sorry, you recuperate up. I always get confused while we're doing this stuff. And then trying to refresh your Rupture with your you're Eviscerate, okay? You're never going to have enough combo points trying to practice this on a test dummy, guys. You're really not. You need to make sure that you're in a party or a raid to really get a good feel for Subtlety. Let's talk about our Glyphs. We need Glyph of Slice and Dice, increase that duration by 6 seconds, allows us to maybe fit in more abilities, more attacks, and definitely stop wasting 5 combo points on things like Slice and Dice, which we just need to keep rolling over. We definitely want Glyph of Hemorrhage. Now, you want to think about Glyph of Hemorrhage. If you're raiding, you might want to think about dropping it, maybe. It's up to you. I personally like it. Your Hemorrhage ability also causes the target to bleed, dealing 40% of the direct strikes damage bonus, damage over 24 seconds. It is a nice little DPS boost, guys. It is. Glyph of Backstab. Your Backstab criticals gain you back 5 energy. Obviously, we've just buffed the crit chance of Backstab so much that that 5 energy is going to start giving us loads of extra DPS. Really good. In terms of other Glyphs that you want, Glyph of Tricks of the Trade, you definitely want to be doing. We want to be tricking all the damn time. It's a nice big flat damage buff. Glyph of Fan of Knives, you can maybe drop it. The only other glyph there, I mean, I've got Glyph of Blade Flurry because this is usually my combat spec. The only other glyph I would majorly recommend for major glyphs is Glyph of Feint. Reduces the energy cost of Feint by 20%. Remember, by 20. Remember that Feint is reducing all the time your AoE damage by so much, so you're going to survive a hell of a lot longer in a raid environment with big AoE going on. Okay, that's the Subtlety road, guys. I'm going to jump in a heroic.